was only humanoid in shape, and far beyond any mortal being that the possessive mask had ever enthralled. The combined being, corruptive mask and omnipotent god, raised its hands high, like a conductor before an orchestra. From the spot he lay in, Kasdan watched in horror as every member of staff in the facility was pulled up through the floor or dragged screaming through the walls, piping and brickwork tearing through them. This was a minimum security Foundation wing, far more relaxed with only a handful of staff and a light force of guards. Still, to SCP-035, it didn't matter how many there were. It was enough to make a start. The wrinkly hands of its new hosts clenched sharply. The Foundation staff, all suspended in mid-air, suddenly exploded. Each one of them, every researcher and guard, erupted into a fireball, burning white-hot like heated metal before fizzling out. There was nothing left, no scraps of clothing, no remains. They just weren't. If it wanted to, SCP-035 would have thrown its head back and laughed maniacally. In some strange way, Kasdan thought that might have been better. Instead, it was silent, the mask's wide, soulless grin conveying its twisted delight well enough. It turned to face the wall, thick layers of concrete standing between it and the outside world, and began stepping forward, so completely casually that it was unnerving. With its first step, the walls of the cell surrounding the SCP-035 and SCP-343 hybrid, as well as Kasdan, began to crumble away. With the second, the corridor outside did the same, falling apart without any exertion of effort from the masked god. Each and every step further, more of the building around them was chipped away, carving a path through rooms and research stations towards the edge of the site. It was as though the concrete and brickwork, the dense, heavy materials that constructed the facility, suddenly had the consistency of wet sand, and SCP-035 and its new host were the tides coming in, washing away all in their path. No longer in pain, but his body distorted beyond repair, Kasdan forced himself up off the ground at last. Weakly he limped after the creature, thinking in vain he had any chance to stand against a being with the unbridled power of a god and the infinite cruelty and malice of the possessive mask. If he could just get close enough, Kasdan thought, he could tear the mask away, freeing the old man. He wouldn't be able to stop himself from putting